I'm 68 years old, and I need to tell you something that most people never figure out until it's too late. Here's what actually matters in life, and what doesn't. Because I spent 50 years of my life chasing the wrong things, building the wrong life, focusing on stuff that turned out to be completely worthless. And by the time I realized what actually mattered, I'd already lost most of it. So you don't have to waste 50 years like I did, because once you see the difference, you can't unsee it, and your entire life will change. My name is Michael. Most people call me Mike. I'm not here to lecture you or tell you how to live your life. I've made too many mistakes for that. But I am here to share something I wish someone had told me when I was 30. Life has this cruel way of teaching you the most valuable lessons, only after you no longer have time to use them. And I don't want that for you. So let me tell you what actually matters in this life, and what's just noise. Because once you know the difference, everything changes. Let me start with what doesn't matter, because I wasted decades chasing this stuff. And I see you doing the same thing right now. Your job title doesn't matter. I know that probably sounds wrong to you, but listen to me. I was a regional manager at a logistics company for 23 years. Had my own office, reserved parking, my name on the company newsletter. You know what that title is worth to me today? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It disappeared the day I walked out that door for the last time. What I do remember? There was this guy, Tommy, who worked in shipping. Every Friday, he'd bring his guitar to the break room during lunch and just play. Some of us would sit and listen. No agenda, no meetings, just music and conversation. Those 30 minutes every Friday, I remember them clear as day. The title? I barely remember what it even was. The stuff you accumulate doesn't matter. I had a Cadillac. I had a Tag Heuer watch my boss gave me after 20 years of service. I had a house with a 2-car garage and a finished basement I barely used. And you know what I think about when I can't sleep at 3 a.m.? None of it. Not even once. I think about the weekend my wife and I drove to the Smoky Mountains in our beat-up Chevy truck. We had maybe $150 between us. We camped in a tent, cooked hot dogs over a fire, and watched the stars until we fell asleep. That trip probably cost us $50, but it's worth more than every expensive thing I ever bought. The stuff doesn't stay with you. The moments do. Being right doesn't matter. This one cost me the most. I used to argue about everything. Politics, religion, sports, the best route to take to avoid traffic. I had to win. I had to prove my point. And you know what that got me? A lot of silent dinners and a lot of people who stopped calling. My best friend from high school, Jerry, we didn't talk for almost 4 years over some stupid argument about something I can't even remember now. 4 years. He reached out to me right before he had his first heart attack. We talked for 2 hours on the phone, laughed like we were 17 again. And then 3 months later, he was gone. I lost 4 years with him, because I needed to be right, and now he's gone, and I'd give anything to have those 4 years back, to have been wrong and still had my friend. Being right is the loneliest prison you can lock yourself in. So if all that doesn't matter, what does? It took me 5 decades to figure this out, and it's simpler than you think, which is exactly why most people completely miss it. But here's the thing that nobody tells you. Once you see what actually matters, you can't go back to living the way you did before. It changes everything. Presence matters, not just showing up, being there, actually there. Mind, body, and soul locked into the moment you're in. About 3 months ago, I was sitting in a coffee shop, just me and my coffee, and this old guy at the next table. He must have been in his 80s. He was reading a book, and every few pages, he'd stop, close his eyes, and just smile, like whatever he was reading was bringing him pure joy. I watched him for maybe 20 minutes, and I realized, when was the last time I did that? When was the last time I was so present in a moment that it made me smile? Not scrolling, not planning, not worrying, just there. Most of my life I was in the room, but I wasn't really there. My body showed up, but my mind was always somewhere else, at work, in the past, worrying about the future. And I missed thousands of moments that I'll never get back. Moments that were trying to give me exactly what I was searching for. Don't do that. When you're somewhere, be there completely. Put the phone down. Stop planning the next thing. Lock in. That's where life actually happens. In the present moment, nowhere else. How you make people feel matters more than anything you'll ever accomplish. And this one took me way too long to understand. I worked with a woman named Sarah for about 12 years. She wasn't the loudest person in the room, never got promoted to management, didn't chase titles or recognition. But every single time you talked to her, you left feeling lighter, like the weight you were carrying wasn't quite so heavy anymore. She had this way of listening that made you feel like what you were saying actually mattered. Not judged, not dismissed, just heard. Sarah died 6 years ago, and I still think about her all the time. Not because of anything she achieved or any position she held, but because of how she made me feel. Like I mattered, like I was worth listening to, like I was seen. That's the real game. Not your title, not your bank account, not the stuff you own. How did people feel after being around you? Did you make them feel small, or did you make them feel valued? That's what people remember. That's your actual legacy. The moments you're ignoring right now are the ones you'll desperately wish you could get back. This is the truth that absolutely destroys me when I think about it. I spent my whole life waiting for the big moments. The promotion, the raise, the vacation, the achievement. And while I was waiting for life to get better, I missed the fact that life was already happening right in front of me. My wife used to make scrambled eggs and toast every Saturday morning. Nothing special, just breakfast. And I'd sit there with my phone, scrolling through work emails, barely looking up. I wish I could go back to one of those mornings. Just one. Put the phone away. Look at her. Really see her. Say thank you. Notice how the morning light came through the kitchen window. How peaceful everything felt. Those Saturday mornings were the big moments. I just didn't know it at the time. And now she's been gone for 2 years, and I'd give up everything I have, every achievement, every promotion, every dollar I ever made, for just one more Saturday morning with her. The small moments are the big moments. You just don't realize it until they're gone. And by then, it's too late to get them back. Here's the truth that nobody wants to hear, but everybody needs to. You're running out of time. Not in some dramatic way, just in a factual way. I'm 68 years old. If I'm lucky, I might have another 10, maybe 15 years. And that sounds like a lot until you realize how fast time actually moves when you're not paying attention. My 30s felt like they lasted about 3 months. My 40s were over before I even looked up. And now, here I am, closer to the end than the beginning, wondering where it all went. And the hardest part? I can't get any of it back. I can't redo my 30s with the wisdom I have now. I can't go back to my 40s and make different choices. It's done. The only thing I have now are the memories I chose to create and the relationships I chose to invest in. You think you have time. That's what we all think when we're young. I'll do it next year. I'll make that call next week. I'll fix that relationship eventually. But eventually never comes. Because life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just keeps moving forward. And before you know it, you're 68, looking back at 1,000 I'll do it laters that became I never dids. So stop waiting. Stop putting off the conversation. Stop delaying the trip. Stop avoiding the phone call you know you need to make. Do it today. Right now. Because you don't know how many todays you actually have left. I learned this the hardest way possible. My wife wanted to go to Maine. She talked about it for 15 years. See the lighthouses, eat lobster rolls, and walk along the coast. One day, Mike, she'd say, one day we'll go. And I always agreed. One day. When work slows down, when we save a little more, when the timing is better. She died before we ever went. No warning, just gone. And now I have to live with the fact that I chose one day over today. I chose eventually over now. And there's no second chance, no do-over. Don't do what I did. Don't trade the life you could be living right now for some imaginary perfect future that might never arrive. Live today. Love today. Show up today. Because today is genuinely all you have that's guaranteed. Your relationships matter infinitely more than your achievements. Let me tell you something that took me too long to understand. When I lie in bed at night, unable to sleep, thinking about my life, you know what I think about? Not my career, not the accounts I closed or the projects I managed. I think about my son. I missed his college graduation because I had a client meeting I convinced myself I couldn't miss. I missed it, and I can still see the look on his face when I told him I wouldn't be there. He said it was fine, that he understood, but it wasn't fine. I knew it then. I definitely know it now. He doesn't remember my job title. He doesn't care about the clients I worked with or the deals I closed. But he remembers that I wasn't there, that when it mattered, I chose work over him. And that's something I can never take back. No amount of career success erases that moment. So if you ever have to choose between your work and your people, choose your people. Every single time. Because your company will replace you within a week of you being gone. But your family? They can never replace you. At 68, I finally understand what life is actually about. It isn't about what you accumulate. It is about who you connect with. My richest moments weren't when I had the big title. They were when I was fully alive, fully present, and fully engaged with the people right in front of me. I learned that perfection is a waste of energy. I spent decades trying to look like I had it all figured out. But people don't connect with your shiny image. They connect with your messy, honest humanity. So take off the mask. I learned that holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It just kills you. Let it go. If I could go back to my 30-year-old self, I would tell him just one thing. Stop trying to impress strangers and start showing up for the ones who love you. You don't need the bigger house. You need the bigger heart. You don't need the promotion if it costs you your peace. I've made every mistake in the book, and if I could do it over, I wouldn't chase success. I would chase connection. I wouldn't chase more stuff. I would chase more meaning. And I would start today. You still have time. I'm running out, but you still have time. So please, use it. Show up, be present, and stop waiting for your life to start. It already has. If this story touched you, please subscribe to the channel so we can walk this road together.